Welcome to this podcast on relationships presented by TCSIG in partnership with Anthem EAP. My name is Carla Pariser. I do have a degree in psychology and an MBA. I continue my quest for understanding about mind-body relationships and work-life balance through my meditation and yoga classes. Today I'd like to talk about, what's the definition of a relationship and how important communication is in the relationship, and how do you talk about the needs that you have in a relationship and the best way to communicate that. So a relationship refers to the connection or association or interaction between two or more entities. And it can take many forms. It depends on the context. So we can have personal relationships. So those are emotional or social connections between people, like friendships, romantic partnerships, family bonds, or acquaintanceships. We can have professional relationships, interactions between colleagues, employers, employees, or business partners. And we can have biological relationships. Those are connections based on kinship or genetic ties, like parent-child or siblings. Communication in a relationship involves sharing thoughts and feelings and hopes and fears openly to help you connect with each other on a deeper level. Through effective communications, partners can resolve conflicts, they can build trust, and deepen their emotional connection. And it helps in understanding the perspective of your partner so that you can avoid misunderstandings that could lead to feelings of maybe neglect or frustration or loneliness. When both partners feel heard and understood, it creates a sense of safety and trust in the relationship. Healthy communication also involves listening, being present and attentive, and showing your partner that their thoughts and feelings matter to you. And that really lays a great groundwork for dealing with challenges and building a future together. Now, each person in a relationship has their own set of needs, and those needs contribute to their happiness and well-being when they're fulfilled. So then the relationship can thrive and it brings joy and fulfillment to both partners. So I'm going to give some examples of just some of the needs that you might have in a relationship. One is emotional support. And emotional support means having someone who listens to you and understands your feelings and stands by you through good and bad times. It involves empathy and compassion, offering comfort and reassurance when you're facing challenges. Another need, trust and honesty. Trust involves believing in your partner's reliability and their truthfulness and their integrity. And that goes hand in hand with honesty, right? When you can be truthful and transparent with your partner, it really can help build a secure relationship. Another need, respect and appreciation. Valuing each other's individuality and opinions and boundaries is really essential for maintaining the dignity and equality that you want in your relationship. And appreciation, not surprisingly, involves the acknowledgement of one another's efforts and the contributions that you make to the relationship. And that helps create a sense of value and of belonging. Another need is quality time, taking the time to focus on each other and to share experiences and create memories, because that helps strengthen your bond and deepen your connection. And support for personal growth. In a healthy relationship, partners support one another's personal growth and goals, and they encourage each other to pursue individual interests and ambitions and self-improvement. Communicating your needs in a relationship can greatly enhance understanding and connection with your partner. And it's a two-way process, as I said, and that involves both speaking and listening. So I have a couple of tips to help us all build healthier, more satisfying relationships. The first one is to reflect on your needs. Take the time to understand what you truly need in your relationship, and then how to be clear and specific when you're expressing yourself. One thing might be to try writing down your feelings so you can organize your thoughts, and then you're ready to explain your needs more effectively to your partner. Another thing we can do is to choose the right moment. Find a calm, quiet time when both of you are free from stress or distractions. That really helps it create an environment that's comfortable for open and honest communication. So if you can plan a specific time to talk, then you're ensuring that both of you are prepared and you're receptive to have those conversations. Using the I statements, starting sentences with I need or I feel to express yourself is really, really a good way to go, because that approach focuses on your feelings rather than implying blame. So instead of saying, you never listen to me, you could say, I feel valued when you listen attentively to what I'm saying. Another tip, be honest and gentle. Honesty is crucial, but so is kindness. So we want to make sure we approach the conversation with a mix of truthfulness and sensitivity. One thing you can do is rehearse what you want to say, so that way you can ensure that your words are both true and considerate. Another tip, listen actively. So, listening actively means you're not looking at your phone, you're not thinking about what you need at the grocery store, you're truly engaged with what the other person is saying. So, after you express your needs, give your partner a chance to respond and do that active listening to show empathy and understanding. I think active listening is important in our lives every single day. And another thing we can do when we do active listening is paraphrase what we think we've heard, so we're sure that we're both on the same page. Very, very helpful. Definitely avoid blame and criticism. So there's some ways that we can improve the healthy communication in relationships. And effective communication is a skill that we certainly can learn, we can develop, and we can improve. It's so important in so many aspects of our lives, but particularly as we're talking about partnerships. So one thing we can do is practice open communication. Again, where we encourage an environment where both you and your partner feel safe to express your thoughts and feelings openly. Maybe you could start by sharing something personal that happened in your day, and then you ask your partner to do the same thing. And that's a simple act, but it can really open the way for more profound conversations. Avoid assumptions. Assumptions can lead to misunderstandings and negative thinking. So instead of assuming that you know what your partner thinks or feels, ask them. Clarifying things with questions can help you understand what your partner really thinks. Focusing on the present. It's so much better if you can discuss current issues than bringing up past grievances. And that way, when you're talking about current issues, it keeps the conversation relevant and productive. You continue to move forward. You continue to move on the path that you want. So when you're discussing a problem, if you can stick to what's going on at hand right now and stay present, it's so much more helpful. Address emotional hurts. Talk about your feelings before you dive into problem solving, because that really helps both partners feel understood and valued. And the understanding part is really critical here. So if you can begin by expressing how a particular situation made you feel, and you use those I statements, I feel, like, for example, I feel our interaction this morning could have been more friendly, then again, it's not putting any blame on anybody. It's just talking about how you feel and how you see things. Work together on solutions. If you can work as a team and look for solutions that benefit both partners, that's the best thing. Maybe you brainstorm and then you think about the pros and cons of each action. And I did talk before, and I'm going to say it again, practice active listening. Learn to understand, not just respond. If you can show your partner that you value their perspective, and you can practice this by summarizing or paraphrasing what your partner said, and then making sure by saying, did I understand this correctly? And you can strengthen your emotional bond by asking thoughtful questions because it really shows that you care and that you're interested in getting to know one another better. And I do think it's really important to stay away from using the you statements because those could be like accusations. So instead, instead express your emotions clearly and I think respectfully by using those I feel statements. I talked about that before. So you could say, I feel hurt when instead of you hurt me by. All of the things that I'm talking about take time. We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to be patient with ourselves. But the good news, this is something that we can continue to grow at. We can get better at. We can make it part of our everyday lives. So relationships grow stronger gradually with consistent effort. Another key, I think, is to be understanding. Accept that challenges and misunderstandings are normal. We don't live in a perfect world. Things happen. We're human beings. Nobody's perfect. So just be understanding. And I think with so much in our lives, adapt to change. If you can work through life's transitions together with empathy and flexibility, then relationships do become stronger and deeper and more fulfilling over time. I always like to end these podcasts with a quote. This is really a perfect one for what we're talking about today. Great relationships are not great because they have no problems. They are great because both people care enough about the other person to find a way to make it work. The author is unknown, but I think it's just perfect for what we've talked about. I want to thank you so much for joining me today and listening to this podcast on relationships that's been brought to you by TCSIG in partnership with Anthem EAP. You can always reach out to your EAP by calling 1-800-999-7222, or you can visit the website www.anthemeap.com/TCSIG. Thank you again for taking the time to join me. This is Carla Pariser. So long until next time.